All right, let me finish showing you my English tuning here by demonstrating how I use it for content archive. I'm able to create page after page after page and pretty much put whatever I want to on it. This is a listing of links that then will take the students into the more detailed information about each of these days of class. You can see sometimes I did a calendar, and then sometimes I just included some of the materials that they actually needed at that time rather than setting it on a separate materials page. This one's a good example of how convenient it was for me, because we had gone through a number of websites looking at validity and credibility of websites because they were about to start doing some research. Well, I had taken the class together on the overhead projector, on the video projector. We had gone through a number of websites, several of them hoax sites like this one, and boy, let me tell you, most of them take it very seriously. This one on DHMO, which is nothing more than dihydrogen monoxide, otherwise known as water. But it looks, especially as you go through the links, it looks very, very believable. And then this is another favorite one, all about explorers. We spent some time on the Christopher Columbus page, and you find out, oh, it looks great, looks beautiful, and even kind of aged and everything. Until you read that he was born in 1951 in Sydney, Australia. At the bottom it says he died in 1906. So we look at ways of detecting if a website is valid or not, and then there's some other good links here. Some of the documents that I had given them as handouts are here as PDFs that they can download and save. So anyways, the value, oh, and then I would make a separate individual page that was real easy to just print out. Now, of course, if they actually wanted to go through, take the time and really make up class, they'd go through all of these individual links, and if they printed it, they'd still have to come back and do that on the screen. But the value of this is that whenever students are gone for sports or for choir or band, or if they're sick, then they just come back here, look under content, find the correct semester, find the correct date, and I tend to do it at the end of the day when class is over. Like, for example, here I need to update the front calendar where I've listed every day this week, because I need to put in what the writing assignment was today. So I asked them to reread pages 29 through 31, and then I asked them to answer 2 questions. I wanted them to tell me, what does being social mean to you? Because Clarice had talked about that. And then, what was Bradbury right or wrong about kids in the future? Right about regarding kids in the future. So I can just hit save. You can see it's very much WYSIWYG, very much what you see is what you get. So here's Wednesday, the 10-minute writing assignment, the quiz. We did some analysis and discussion. Now, in order to make a separate page just for this date so that I could link to it, it's very, very simple. I'm going to go back to content and go to daily work again. Any of this will take me to adding a page. And so I'm going to go ahead and put today's date, Wednesday, November 30, 2011. I'm going to copy and paste all of that right in there. I could go through and change formatting if I wanted to, but these 2, notice, came over as live links, which is really, really nice. I don't have to go back in and redo them. I will check them. And that, sure enough, that's where I wanted it to take them to, and this will take them to the same place. They just need to scroll to the bottom. So sure enough. So this page right now is the page for this date. And so I'm not going to take the time to do it right now, but I could take it and go back to, oh no, I don't want that one. I could take this and go back to this page and add it as a link, which they could then click on. You can see I'm way, way behind right now, but I've used it for this purpose in the past very successfully. Okay, so let's move on to my English Lit and Comp. Ning, take about 4 or 5 minutes to just show you some things here that are a little bit different. This one you can see I have uploaded some actual videos here. I've got a sample MLA paper. It's my favorite one to have on hand. It's got nice annotations that go along with it, so that's always there, and I just close the entire window. Let's try that again. Quick hint, when you name your Ning, when you name a website, you might want to think before hitting click, because if you notice, I named this Mrs. G AP, but of course what it comes out as is mrsgap.ning.com. The kids all think that's very funny. I'm not so excited about that, but there's not much I can do about it. So here we've got, I use my blogs much more extensively with my AP class. You can see I have a lot of them going on. I use them for quizzes. This was a particular sympathetic character quiz. We had just finished reading the creature's entire story as he recounts it to Victor Frankenstein, and so I asked the kids to defend a position that he was or was not a sympathetic character. And so then I just go into the blog and I'll click on a student and read. Let's see, there was a previous one where they had to choose quotes. They had to choose, I think, 4 quotes, one from each of 4 chapters, and analyze those quotes in terms of plot development, character development, and or theme development. So that worked out really well. So I just come onto the blog and I read, I score, and I'll also come back and comment as time allows. Discussion forum, I will show you, let's see, having a frank discussion. Some of them caught the joke there. So I post a main question here, that's me, and then I often will set it as, I'll feature. If it's mine, I'll feature it so it's really easy for them to find the question. And then you can see here's somebody's response, and then here are various students responding to them. And I have guidelines for their responses because I find even my seniors are pretty clueless. They'll say things like, "Oh my, OMG, that was the bomb," you know, or they'll do mocking stuff like, "Oh, I loved how you used words and diction in this." It's like, no. I'm really looking for you to ask questions. I'm asking you to interact. I find that many of my students who go on to college are thrown into an asynchronous discussion, kind of in a hybrid class, an online forum, where they're expected to conduct themselves at a fairly high level of academic thinking and communicating. So I find it I consider an important part of what I do with my seniors to have them getting used to this. And then let's see, the discussion forum I just showed, individual blogs again. Let's see if I can find, did we do this as a blog? I'm not remembering. I think so. Let me see if I can find Carmen. Yes, because I remember looking at her poem. We did some found poems where I had the kids respond and ask them to be very. So first of all, you can see nice formatting on her found poem. It was from the book Thunderdog, and then really scored them on being specific in their responses. And they were still fairly awkward in September about using literary terminology to notice things about a poem, but overall they did a pretty good job with that. And then something we have not yet started doing, but we will do very soon, is when we do our unit on Heart of Darkness, I will put them in groups. They'll have a chance to take a look at the various schools of literary criticism, to choose one that looks interesting to them, and then they'll be in groups. These are currently set up for last year, so that's the names that you see here. I'll change those names based on this year. And those will be closed groups where they can document their progress, and I will upload some basic information on that particular theory. I don't like to bombard them with too much. I'll set up discussion forums where each day they will respond and, like I said, show documentation of the work they did. I was finding last year that this particular group just was all over the place. They were trying to do dream analysis, and I really wanted to push them to work with ego, id, and superego. So I actually went ahead and then used this as a space to give them some diagrams, and other groups I gave them more materials, source materials to work with. Some of them I gave links. And this wasn't information I needed to give all the groups, so it was nice to be able to go into the individual group, give them some information, discuss things back and forth, leave notes, tell them, you know, what direction I thought they might want to go the next day. So other than that, this Ning is pretty much the same. Use it to put a lot of content up. Where's my materials list here? This has got a lot of stuff that they need throughout the year. E-texts. Oh yeah, let's take a look at the e-text for Heart of Darkness, because that was really, really useful. Oh, shoot, is that here? Yeah, here it is, the e-text of Heart of Darkness. So for example, the formalists need to be able to go through and do some searches, which they could do in the book. Just by sight. Oh, let me do something other than heart. Let me do like a word. Okay, so being able to provide the e-text for them, they can go through and search for things. Searching the word snake turns out to be interesting as well. Also put up PowerPoints when I do presentations. Just a lot of important resources. And then also the syllabus is up here, as well as the course description. And I believe I'm out of time in talking about Nings.